You're listening to the Chartographers.
This is another beautiful day in paradise, folks.
Hello, everybody! You're listening to the Chartographers. This is a music-loving podcast for music-loving people where we take every single album by a particular artist and we rank it all from worst to first. And it's the thing that we do, but as you guys know, this season is weird, it's different. We're only doing 5 artists, and because it's a much shorter season, we're doing weird stuff, doing obscure stuff. If you don't know it, too bad. And this one is actually something you might probably know, but this is definitely an experiment. I'm going to freely admit that out there. Everyone on this podcast is aware it is an experiment. But the thing is, I've had a long-running idea, and it's kind of a concept that stuck in my head. Has there been times when there has been a soundtrack that is better than the movie itself? And it's one of the things you don't really necessarily think about it, but I think about the Jonathan Glazer movie Birth with Nicole Kidman and Anne Heche, how it's a movie. It's a movie that you see, and at the end you're like, that was a movie. But the score by Alexandre Desplat, fucking incredible. And a lot of people know that the Twilight movies are dog shit, but these soundtracks, which have indie rock luminaries like Radiohead's Tom York and St. Vincent and Iron Wine, all artists that we've covered on a previous episode of the Chartographers, are actually good albums. People buy them in droves. It's a big deal. So I kind of wanted to put that theory to the test and be like, can you rank a soundtrackography? And we're going to find out right now, because if you're going to rank a soundtrackography, we're going to go to the best of the best. We're not going to fucking putz around here. We're going to go all the way straight to the top, because this week, that's right guys, we're going to be ranking the soundtracks of the one, the only, the guy who is the shift manager at Jackrabbit Slims and also says the N-word a lot. That's right guys, we're talking about Quentin Tarantino! Yeah. Richard Gecko if you're nasty. So Quentin Tarantino, that was his character name from Dusk Till Dawn, a screenplay by Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, good job.
Exactly. But Tarantino, as a lot of people know, after he sold the screenplay for True Romance, which was technically the first, big screenplay that he wrote, he then wrote and directed a little movie called Reservoir Dogs. And the thing is, it got a lot of attention, a lot of press. He shortly followed that with Pulp Fiction. And the thing about these movies that was so striking, aside from the tones and the themes that you get through all the Tarantino movies, they're professional killers at some point involved and whatnot. But the thing is that, they are all soundtrack heavy. The music is so specific and, it's different, and usually a lot of obscure stuff that he brings to light. And then these songs that he brings to light get imitated and parodied and used in commercials for fucking cricket phones, and it's the most annoying fucking thing. But hey, listen, the 5, 6, 7, 8's made money, so who's gonna give a shit? Anywho, the biggest thing is that I wanted to talk about the soundtracks. Tarantino in interviews has even said that he views the soundtrack as an experience by itself. So with that in mind, can we do it? We're gonna find out, because in order to make this happen, we had to bring the right people together. Our own Fox Force 5, if you will. So that's right, guys. We were talking about people like me, Evan Sadi. You might know me. I'm the interviews editor at Pop Matters. I also do stuff for MSN and whatnot. I don't care about that. I care that you care about this podcast, because it means a lot to me. It's my favorite podcast in the world, also because I'm on it. But more importantly, though, if you know anything about this podcast, you know the person sitting next to me, the Uma Thurman to my Tarantino. That's right, guys. The co-creator of the podcast, Taran O'Reilly.
Really? I'm Uma Thurman?
Yeah.
My name is literally Taran. It's in his name.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I was about to. It's worked in my
But fine. I'm your Uma Thurman.
You're sexier.
And
when you dance like Uma Thurman.
Are you gonna force me to drive unseatbelted down a dirt road and get into a car wreck, and then we won't speak for decades?
Yes. But listen, exactly. But listen, the thing is that Taran and I, we have a lot of very strong opinions about Tarantino and his various films. But the thing is that also at the end of the day, we can't do it by ourselves. We really can't. That's why we had to bring in the great people that we have on here, including some amazing previous guests. First off, you have heard him before. He has been the co-host of the Charties for the past 2 years. He is a dear and sweet and wonderful friend. He is also, because he's been on the number of episodes he has, including our Gorillas episode, he is in the realm of a Chartographers All-Star! Yeah. You can find him on Instagram at Malort Long and Prosper. That's right, guys. The one and only John Gleason Teske's in studio!
Woo! Hello, everybody.
How you doing, John?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful, long-ass ride going through all of these.
Yeah, good thing that this is a podcast is death-proof. But better than that, though, yeah, that's a reference to a title of a movie.
Don't know that. That was weak.
But on top of that, the thing is, John Gleason Teske is a great guy, but honestly, you know the true facts, people. This podcast wouldn't be this podcast if it wasn't for the originator of it all. Back when he ran the film site Film Enthusiast for a while. He did the podcast, and the whole ranking as a consensus thing came together because of what we did, including an extremely controversial episode with the three of us together. Gleason, Teske, our guest, and me ranked Tarantino movies, and Gleason, Teske was not happy with how it turned out. It was really fun. And so now it's retribution time. Either way, he's the man, the myth, the legend. Follow him on Instagram at DM Coupe and on Twitter at Dave Coupe, the one and only Dave Coupe!
Hey, gentlemen.
How you doing?
Well, thank you for asking.
Good. Now, of course, the three of us, have been on that Tarantino podcast where we talked about all the films.
That's a good one.
It was a great, fun, scintillating time, I would even say.
Yeah.
Scintillating.
Yeah.
Got the blood pumping.
Yes,
Oh,
it
yeah.
did. And the thing is, we now have a new movie on top of it to deal with.
We do.
Exactly, which I'm excited about. And the thing is that initially, Coupe did a great job this week kind of prepping me the idea of like, okay, so wait a second, are we ranking the music of the films or are we ranking the soundtracks? And it was a good clarifier because when you look at some of the soundtrack albums that were released, some of these ones don't have every single song featured in the movie.
Almost half sometimes.
Right,
Yeah.
due to whatever licensing or clearing or things like that. By the way, good luck finding Inglourious Basterds soundtrack on Spotify because there is jack shit on there. I don't know what they were able to approve or not, but it's crazy. But more importantly, though, the thing is, Tarantino has said he views it as experience, which is why when it comes to ranking the soundtracks, you also have to incorporate the lines of dialogue. He wants to create that experience of like viewing the film or whatnot, because I think that for a lot of people, soundtracks are a souvenir from the film. You hear these songs, you think about, oh, I remember that scene or something else. Like, I think Guardians of the Galaxy is a great example of that, where it's just like, it's integrated in the film, but it's not like too explicit, it's just kind of there. It's a little bit of a story element, not the biggest one, but it's like...
Also baked in from the start.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In the script. Very intentional.
Instead of just like songs that play over various scenes,
right.
like and I know so many bad soundtracks, as we all know. But that's the reason why we're kind of diving into it here, and I'm excited about this. It's a different prospect. And the other thing is that, guys, it is an experiment. We are kind of going through this together. It is going to be fun, a wild journey. Because the thing is that as much as you want to talk about this collection of songs by themselves, guess what? I'm sorry. There are times when you just think about the film. You think about great moments, like when the fucking title card cut to black and suddenly Miserlou plays at the start of fucking Pulp Fiction. That's a goddamn experience. That's a journey. And guess what? That's a factor in terms of how much I fucking like that goddamn song and how much advertisers liked it.
On the flip side, you have the beginning of Hateful Eight, which is just like 3 minutes of snow. It just kind of keeps happening, and you're like, cool.
There's more snow in that than the snowman.
He gave us all the clues.
Also, the next ranking.
Yeah.
Just the tracks on the snowman sound.
Because I definitely remember who composed that. But more importantly, though, so that means, guys, although he promised he'd be out and done with 10 movies, he does count Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 as a single entity, but we still have 10 soundtracks to do.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't consider Death Proof a movie.
Really?
Yeah, he counts Kill Bill as 2 movies. He doesn't count Death Proof.
Okay. Whatever, Quentin.
That's his.
I didn't know that. That's great.
I think Death Proof is a movie.
Yeah.
I saw it in a movie theater.
I mean,
Because I think
it's only half of a movie.
Yeah, I think it's...
Like, I think he considers Grindhouse the film.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
So wait, are we going to be ranking the 5 minutes he directed in Sin City?
It's the best 5 minutes in the movie.
I really enjoyed the soundtrack to that episode of CSI.
Listen, it was the best episode of CSI.
Buried alive.
Where did you find it on? Yes.
Long story short, we got 10 soundtracks to rank, and let's go through them. First off, we start off with the gritty 1992 debut, Reservoir Dogs, the much more pop culture-affiliated Pulp Fiction in 1994, the blaxploitation reboot of the entire genre, which was known as Jackie Brown from 1997, the, I guess we'll call it a martial arts film, but it's so much more than that, Kill Bill Volume 1 in 2003, the sequel to that, Kill Bill Volume 2 in 2004, the movie we were just talking about that is technically a movie, Death Proof from 2007, he is World War II fan fiction, which is so well done, called Inglourious Basterds in 2009. He has returned to the great outlaw western in terms of Django Unchained in 2012. He has a Murder Box Murder Mystery of the Hateful Eight in 2015. And, of course, his movie about Hollywood, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in 2019.
It's this year.
Yeah, exactly. The year we're recording this.
Yeah.
But you know what?
job.
Thanks, guys.
Some people might be listening to this soundtrack all the way in 2022. And
So I'm dating
sure.
this.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah, when the third movie, the 10th movie, the Star Trek movie that he does,
can't
finally
re-release
comes
it.
into exactly. We'll just hold it into the vault. So, guys, 10
Star
movies.
Trek movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
gonna be his last movie?
No.
Maybe.
Dear God, no. I will fight him.
No, I want him to
I will fight him with my feet.
I want to see what that is.
I mean,
I
we can
do
see what
not.
it is. but it can't be his. That can't count as his.
Well, he said he's gonna write novels and make plays and shit like that, and probably direct miniseries and stuff like that.
Yeah, all right.
Anyway. Long story short, 10 albums, 10 spots. Guys, I'm really excited about this because we're talking about the merits of a soundtrack, and it's going to work in tandem with the film, but long story short, Taran and I have done a whole bunch of episodes, over 100 episodes of this podcast together, which is an incredible thing. John Gleason Teske, as you know, is the co-host of the Charties and the Chartographers All-Star, so technically, even though he's been on an episode, that means Dave Coupe, you're technically the new guy here.
Yeah.
And although this is your area of expertise, I'm curious, you're in the hot seat for the start of it, I have to ask the question, Dave Coupe, number 10, what would you nominate as the worst Tarantino soundtrack?
It's a really great question.
I am so fucking curious to see what you, of all people, pick for this motherfucker.
There's a couple, I think. I mean, there's a couple that are. And like, listen, all soundtracks are fucking great. All of his soundtracks are great. And I think that I watched a bunch of these and then listened to the soundtracks after. And boy, I think that probably Kill Bill Volume 2 might be his weakest soundtrack. And just in terms of like, there's not much, it's especially paired against Kill Bill Volume 1, which is
Absolutely
good.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just listening to Kill Bill Volume 2 and I was like, alright, there's some really good Ennio Morricone, like, lifts.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, and then there's one or two really good songs, but it's not a dance soundtrack.
Yeah.
And I mean, and then there are two other soundtracks that I also think could be in contention for number 10, which is Reservoir Dogs and Inglourious Bastards.
Oh.
Yeah.
Coupe's coming out of the gate with
I'm
some
making weird
shit.
body shapes because I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay. Well,
that was my gut reaction, and I'm as the man on the hot seat.
Yeah, exactly. No, and I appreciate the honesty there. I think let's just take it one piece at a time. Let's talk about Kill Bill Volume 2.
Sure,
Now, you can't talk about Kill Bill Volume 2 without Kill Bill Volume 1. And the thing is
Yes,
that...
you can.
I mean...
They're different soundtracks.
They are.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the worst thing about it.
Okay.
Yes.
It's not Kill Bill Volume 1, because I want it to be Kill Bill Volume 1.
Yeah.
And the entire time I'm listening to it, Kill Bill Volume 1 is just better at being a Kill Bill soundtrack. Kind of like, and this is a separate thing, because we all discussed this. We are doing the soundtracks and not the movies. But I think Kill Bill Volume 1 as a movie is better because I mean, we did it first and we did all the good things about it. And Kill Bill Volume 2 is like an end. And I feel like very similarly, the music of Kill Bill Volume 1 encapsulates everything you want about that genre.
Yeah.
And Kill Bill Volume 2 is more of that.
Yeah, rewatching it recently, I've always seen Kill Bill Volume 2 as the high
Higher.
watermark, and then Kill Bill Volume 1 is like, alright, that's pretty good. And my rewatch that sort of shifted a little bit.
Right.
It's been
a while.
It's probably been since theaters. Like,
Yeah.
it's been a very long time. And I think I've watched maybe them once since then, but I had a fucking blast with Kill Bill Volume 1. I was just like this. I had a couple beers. I was like, oh, I'm feeling it, loving it. Kill Bill Volume 2, I was like, this is really good.
Yeah.
And I think there are high moments in that movie, but I think that my opinion has shifted.
Okay.
I mean, first of all, this isn't the soundtrack, but Lucy Liu's having the time of her goddamn life.
Oh,
absolutely.
And like the whole Crazy 88 fight sequence. There's nothing like that in Volume 2. Nothing that even comes close.
Go Yubari, come on.
So and I feel similarly about the soundtracks in that like Volume 1, you have fucking Battle Without Honor of Humanity. like that on its own puts Kill Bill Volume 1 like halfway up this list.
Yeah.
Where and like Volume 2, pretty much exactly what you said. I think my favorite tracks and the ones where I hear it and I go, oh, I know exactly what's happening in the movie are the Ennio Morricone.
Yeah, especially the Buried Alive punching the thing like that.
Yes!
Yeah. Also, like, I think, and tell me if you disagree, I feel like every movie has the track. You know what I mean?
Karen and I were just talking about this the other day.
And that one is, it's a little bit, and certain ones are like, I don't know what the track is quite yet for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah. But like, I think the track is the Ennio Morricone track from,
I think it's Lorena.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That's the track.
That's where she's punching through the
coffin.
coffin.
So great. But like, I just think, and the ending song too is like,
the Bandito
of all
song?
the...
When she's driving on the highway?
It's also like the... least memorable. But it's just I was a little bummed.
Yeah,
like,
there are moments that still like it. Weirdly enough, that one song that plays when she has her daughter and spending time with her, the About Her with Malcolm McLaren, it's kind of a weird song, but it's definitely one of the stronger musical moments that I associate with the movie. Yeah. Just because, like, Kill Bill Volume 1, when I hear that soundtrack, I see every scene so crystal clear in my mind. And with Kill Bill Volume 2, there are a couple of ones like, yeah, I guess that shows up, the Charlie Feathers song, and, you know, like, there's a couple other times where I'm just kind of like, I remember it, but not in the same vein.
And also, like, culturally, I felt like Kill Bill Volume 1, like, the Woohoo was in, 8, 9 commercials that, played all the time, and, like, and the battle and the everything, like, how often is that sort of thing referenced in movies and TV still today, where, like, somebody is about to get in a battle, and then they, like, just go into it.
And
then
it's trailers. Right. Every time I hear it, I'm just like, they're fucking ripping off Tarantino.
And like there's like Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
Right. He's like aimed it. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So listen, let's just put it this way. I was a little bit surprised to see Volume 2. I don't necessarily disagree. I do think it's definitely one of the lower ones. Your other picks, one of them I have an issue with, but we'll talk about that. I'm just curious, Teske, what would you nominate at this spot?
I was thinking about a Kill Bill Volume 2. I think that's because my other one the one that I found to be the most off-putting, the one that I enjoyed listening to the least as an album, as a piece of music, a collection of music pieces.
You're describing a soundtrack, yes.
Not necessarily how it plays into the movie or how I think about any of these individually. It's Django Unchained. I was. Whoa! I did not. And that's my controversial bay on this list.
We're gonna have a podcast.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about like 5 movies before we even rate it.
Which is, you know what? I guess what? That's what we're here for.
But I firmly, I will say that I have a whole lot of feelings about Django Unchained soundtrack, and I have almost no feelings about Kill Bill Volume 2. So like that would be my other option, or possibly the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But I would say that stems from me not being as familiar with
this is gonna be a great podcast.
Right. And listen, guys, and we all have our favorites, we all have our feelings. It's not a matter of me being right, it's a matter of let's just consensusly get there. We got that thing on there. But that being said, fascinating choices, I will say. I would say that
Django Unchained,
especially with the rewatch that we did this week together, I always had I liked it enough kind of opinion of it, but really the soundtrack this week really dug its hooks into me.
Really?
It's one of the things where it is not flawless, but there are so many great moments. And the thing is, this whole journey, listen, if there's anything you need to know about Quentin Tarantino, he has a massive fetish for Ennio Morricone.
And feet.
Oh, and sorry.
And also feet.
Exactly. But
dirty feet.
Yeah, exactly.
Specifically.
Thank you.
Bridget Fonda had some pretty clean ones.
I think they've gotten dirtier as his career has progressed.
Yeah.
Because his mind's gotten
dirtier. In the first movies, the feet were very clean. And then, in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, they were
disgusting.
Covered in dirt. Covered in dirt.
Right. Anyway.
Which we don't need to.
But the thing is that,
we're not ranking the feet.
Yeah, that's a different podcast.
The feet of Quentin Tarantino.
Jesus. But the thing is, really, and the soundtrack thing this week is that he's always professed a great love of the composer Ennio Morricone. And of course, when you think of Morricone, you usually think of Good, Bad, and the West theme, or Good, Bad, and the Ugly. That's usually the first thing that comes to mind.
Also The Thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is that I guess he tried to contact him to get his track for Pulp Fiction, and I guess it didn't work out, and he kept trying, and then once Kill Bill Volume 2 hits, and that's probably really one of the more redeeming aspects of Volume 2, is that's when you start seeing him borrowing liberally from multiple Ennio Morricone scores. The degree to depth, the different tones of it, Morricone is not a one-note guy. There are so many different levels and experiments and other things that he does in there.
He's written over 500 soundtracks.
Yeah.
So you can't
Holy
do
shit.
that and do the same thing every time.
Right. And definitely looking into that guy, I was like, oh, that was him too?
Yeah.
That was him too?
Completely.
And it's honestly for that reason, just as a side note, we won't go into it right now, but part of the reason why I'm going to fight for Inglorious a little bit, just because there are so many excellent selections that he calls out of there for that one there. But that being said...
that's how I feel about Django Unchained, too.
Yeah.
I love the more...
Also, I love that Django Unchained has original songs written for the movie. That blew... And also, he doesn't... for a Western, he doesn't lean on Ennio Morricone.
Well, I don't know. I would say that he uses Morricone a lot, and he uses it in the exact same way that Morricone does in Django, as opposed to some of the other things where he borrows from like a
and finds a new
Western
context for it.
Right.
He loves a thick bass line, a thick 70s bass line.
Right. And so like it felt and Morricone after seeing or I'm not interacting with this movie was like, oh well, I'm never working with this Tarantino guy ever again.
Hateful Eight, right?
No.
It was after
Before
Django.
Hateful Eight. It was after Django.
Yeah.
It was after Django, and I understood this, and he hated it because he was so liberally using this guy's music in the exact same way for the exact very similar.
If
purposes.
we're talking about soundtracks, there are only 3 tracks by Ennio Morricone on the soundtrack for Django Unchained.
Yeah, but like for example,
Wow.
Brain Mule. Which
Oh my god.
Which is maybe like my favorite song on this soundtrack.
This
but
growing, building
it
tension.
It was used to like as he's entering town, and I think that's the same way that it was used in the film that it originally appeared in.
Yes.
That's why Morricone was upset, because he's like,
oh, you're just
you're
borrowing my
literally
shit.
just copying
Yeah.
instead of like using it in a new inventive
But
way.
I'll do one more movie for you.
Yeah. Well,
I'll score the shit out of it.
Somehow that conversation happened, and we'll talk about that later because I'm glad it did. But I do feel like a lot of this Django music that is.
That sounds like a derogatory.
No,
That Django.
No.
Django
Well,
music.
first of all, the Django Unchained music, a lot of it, and including things that are not on the soundtrack, are from the movie Django, which is
Django.
also heavily borrowed from. In ways that feel different. If you're listening to an Inglourious Bastards Morricone thing, it feels like a Western set, like in a completely different. It feels like a Western vibe in a completely different context.
I agree.
Right.
But if you're feeling this, it's like it's directly lifted, and I got bored.
Yeah.
It's also the most like weirdly contemporary. It's got like John Legend and Rick Ross and stuff like that. You're like, whoa, okay, it was
Black Gophers!
Yeah.
For some reason, every time I listen to that song, it just sounds like he's saying Black Gophers, and I can't unhear it.
Anyway,
Also Tupac.
Yeah. I mean,
But I love that.
That's a great song.
That's
That's a great song.
With I like the way you die, boy. Like in the rhythm,
so
it's
good.
so good.
But it feels very weird in this.
It is actually the usage in the film. I like it less than just the track itself.
Well, but it feels very, and partially, and I think because of that, and I had this idea of listening to the soundtrack straight through. It feels weird in the soundtrack. It feels like I would.
it's like a Will Smith Men in Black, like.
Well, no, but like
nod your head, black suits coming.
Listen,
from Men in Black 2.
Yes, and then there was Pitbull.
So bored he couldn't do his own theme song? Fuck you, Will Smith. I'm a Gemini man.
But there was definitely a point on especially the latter half of the soundtrack of Django, that I was like, well, I would like to watch that movie, the John Legend movie, as opposed to the Morricone movie too. Like, I feel like they're two separate. The movie where like Tupac would fit into this movie, like this soundtrack.
Okay.
Tupac felt very out of place in the soundtrack.
I don't know that I agree.
I don't agree.
I feel like yes, it was set just pre-Civil War, but like there's something about that film that just feels so incredibly modern from the outset.
100%.
Like to me, it felt like it almost feels like because it's a little blaxploitation-y too.
Mm-hmm.
So it is set in that time period, but there's absolutely anachronisms happening all over. Like for example, the sleeve pistol.
Yeah.
Like, did that exist? Maybe.
Yeah.
I think
But
it was in the Wild Wild West.
But like,
That historically accurate movie.
mechanical spider.
Steampunk spider.
But like the moment that appears, you're like, oh, this isn't a Western. This is a Tarantino movie.
It's also
and that's why I like when Tupac shows up. I'm like, yeah, he's a.
It also has a great arc. Like, the music follows the arc of Django, which I think is one of the cooler hero arcs any Tarantino movie where it's, him at the beginning, him at the end, you're like, holy shit, what a journey.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack has kind of that same journey.
Right. Now, personally, it's one of the things, I feel like what we're doing is that we're all kind of getting our stuff out right now, including Kill Bill
We have
Volume 2.
all pulled our
And,
winners out.
exactly. So, you know what, listen, we're talking about it, and we'll get to the ranking, guys. I'm pretty sure Kill Bill Volume 2 just might consensusly be at the bottom, and we'll outvote each other. It's a thing that happens, we know. But I'm just going to throw out my other 2 picks that I'm going to have on here real quick, just to make it more complicated.
I'm excited.
My other 2 very clearly and very obviously have to be Death Proof and Hateful Eight. And part of the reason for that is because Hateful Eight is one of the things, that score, that fucking theme that he came across, that's like a John Williams Harry Potter level thing of just this do-do-do-do.
Yeah,
No. Is it Harry Potter level? Because the Harry Potter theme, I don't get sick of.
The rest of the podcast.
But literally, that theme appears on this soundtrack. There's 28 tracks on this soundtrack. First of all, it appears in approximately a third of them, I feel like. That might be,
generous.
That might be
It still feels like a lot. Because then there's the slower version, then there's
and then, but then it comes back and it's in a minute form later, and then, but it's also in the overture, and it's just it's good for the film, but as a listening experience to the soundtrack, it is very repetitive.
But then there's also the White Stripes song.
Yeah. Apple Blossom.
But I will say that Hateful Eight is standing out in a big way from a lot of these because it feels like a score.
And initially, I think when we were initially talking about it with Dave, I had the idea of we'll talk about it before we start the podcast, but maybe we don't count Hateful Eight because it almost feels unfair for every other soundtrack, which is a concise collection of songs.
And I was like,
to go up against
pop songs.
Pop songs to go up against a score. And technically, Inglourious Basterds, because it borrows from so many different scores, it might follow the same thing, but it still feels like he's doing the same thing. He's compiling a soundtrack versus working with an original composition that's made for this film, and it's a score that is repeats and has this theme that's used a bunch of different times. So it's just a different listening experience. Now, I know Dave is a very big, strong advocate for Tarantino's Western specific period. But at the same time, it's just one of the things, as a soundtrack, that is the one where I had the hardest time just engaging with it at a constant
well, I could
rate.
burn that one easy, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm not being precious with it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
I mean, I'm not. It is not the hill that I'm going to die on. But
I think Taran made the best points for it, where it's pretty repetitive and it is. Yeah, you're right. It's a score. I'm not going to put it in a fight.
And that being said, I listen to it in a very, very different way. But it does feel.
How did you listen to it?
I mean, in terms of I'm not ranking the songs in my head.
Right.
Because the third of them are the same.
Yes.
But as an album listening experience, I think it captures better than some of these. It captures the sort of a singular mood, singular feeling. It feels like it's a Western movie made in the 2000 teens more than some of these, because it has that sort of synthy but thrillery but westerny but consistent. It felt I enjoyed the listening experience, and I thought the dialogue introduced the characters, and I what I'm saying in Mr. Morricone is I appreciated,
because he will be listening.
Is I appreciated the Hateful Eight for what it was. It's not, like I say, not the hill I'm gonna die on, but I think you have to once you listen to it in a different way, it beats everything else for a score. And the closest other one that comes to it is Inglourious Basterds in terms of a score.
Yeah.
And I think it beats that.
I think the whole reason that he has dialogue on the soundtrack is so we can just enjoy hearing them say Dahmergoo a lot, because that's just a fun last name.
It's not even a real last name. You find out again.
Exactly. Dahmergoo!
I watched it, my Blu-ray broke halfway through, so I had to actually go over to Netflix and finish it. And then it was do I watch the extended cut? But I was like, no, you gotta finish the cut you're watching.
Exactly.
But I'm excited to go watch the extended cut in a year, because I need a minute.
Right. Well, then that's the thing. Before we get into the hardcore ranking, I'm just curious, Taran, do you have another nominee for below?
Besides the 6 we've nominated already?
I want to know what your personal 6 are.
Well, my personal 6 are. No, I mean, if you want me to just give my low 3.
We're all doing it, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's Hateful Eight. Inglourious Bastards and Kill Bill Volume 2.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, I think at the very least, before anything else, we can probably agree that it looks like Hateful Eight and Kill Bill Volume 2 are on the lower end of the chopping block there.
Totes.
So that being said, do we put Hateful Eight at 10? Do we put Kill Bill Volume 10? Does anyone care either way?
I think because we have general consensus, let's put Volume 2 down there.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
I
cool.
agree.
All right,
I
cool.
agree.
with it.
In that case, guys, officially at number 10, Kill Bill Volume 2.
Which is hilarious because when you said it, we were all like, "Oh!"
I know, and then we talked about it, and it's like,
we were
nope, that's about right.
yeah.
There we
And
go.
then Hateful Eight at 9.
Yeah, Hateful Eight at 9. And
Hey.
from the sounds of it, that means maybe Inglourious Bastards is next, judging from the rest of the room.
Yeah, and also, isn't it like it's the shortest soundtrack too?
It
Like,
is.
Well,
It doesn't have any dialogue in it, so that kind of
That's
cuts
true.
down
That's
the
actually-
track count a
Yeah,
lot.
it
That's a
actually
very
has
good
more
point.
songs than a couple of the others. For example, I just counted Reservoir Dogs, 16 tracks, 8 songs.
yeah,
Well-
that I have no problem with that being next either.
Well, but we can talk about. Let's talk about Inglourious
I
Bastards
actually
first.
really like some of the,
Oh, no,
the dialogue. But anyway, yeah.
Let's talk about
we're
Inglourious
getting-
Bastards because I got things.
Okay.
Yeah,
So tell me some things.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me some
No,
testing.
about Reservoir Dogs. So I want to like get this out of the way.
Sure.
Because I do.
He's so dismissive of it.
Inglourious Bastards, I also ranked very low in my personal estimation because it feels very lifted. It feels very like Tarantino saw a cool scene in a movie and went, "Hey, I want to do that scene," and then like took the score of a scene in a movie and like
That's
just
kinda what
copied
he-
and
I mean, that's
pasted.
kind of like his whole.
I know,
Yeah.
but I mean, but like, Reservoir Dogs doesn't do that. Pulp Fiction doesn't do that. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood doesn't do that, except for fucking Mrs. Robinson, which the balls on that.
I literally
Anyway.
said brass balls. in my
Damn. Hateful Eight doesn't do that.
No.
Um,
Also, he uses in Glorious Bastards. He lifts a music track from his other movie.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
whoa, what?
When he uses fucking White Lightning again.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, I
Which-
didn't like that.
and this is also one of those where there's a bunch of other music used. It's
Yeah.
one of those like the soundtrack and then
Yeah.
other music used as a whole.
It's like just as long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this feels like it feels a little bit like there's one war movie song to me that like the Tiger Tank felt like a war movie
Yeah,
song.
sure.
But the rest of it is westerns for a good chunk of it.
And then it's
fucking
just
White Lighting.
German classical singing.
And
Yeah.
cat people.
And then
Fucking cat
people.
Cat
Which is
people
awesome,
fucking
though.
rules.
Which is a
Oh
awesome.
my god, so many. The thing is that, like, I still very much almost like
awesome is a strong word.
with Kill Bill Volume 1, though.
It's a strong.
I had the same feeling of listening to this where, like, I heard so many of the scenes just came through just so blindingly powerfully.
Yeah.
This
Yes.
time listening to it.
That's
Like,
true.
Green Leaves of Summer, just this do. Like, this kind of, like, tension building as, you know, the Nazi cars are drawing up. And then, of course, the other one was Un Amico by Ennio Morricone at the very end. It's the scene when she's in the projection booth.
Oh,
and gets
that's
shot at the
great.
same time.
That
It's
is
it's just this
great.
lovely, it's just this, it's such a beautifully composed, simple piece of music that he uses in that scene. It feels optimistic even though two characters are dying right in front
When
of
it
you.
picks up, you're like,
Yeah.
it's a kind of magical. to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Yeah. And so it's one of the things where, like, even though he's borrowing from all these different places, like, I just still had such a thrill listening. And again, also bringing in that fucking bass, that one. Was it the White Lightning one? No, the other one was just the doom doom doom. And then that bass line just kind of coming in, that's thick 70s bass that he does so well.
Yeah.
I
Also, the introduction song for
Bear Jew. Except here's the thing. Except in the movie, I feel like the Slaughter by Billy Preston, he just have that hard like. And then in the soundtrack, you actually hear the rest of the song, which is a little bit more boogie woogie,
It is,
which is
yeah.
actually kind of fun, and I'm
Yeah.
digging it. But like in the movie, he just kind of cuts it off.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
there's a couple songs where you listen to them and you go, oh, there's more.
Yeah, and that was actually a really fun. That was such a fun thrill. I listened
Yeah.
to the soundtrack where I'm just like, oh yeah, hell yeah. So it's one of the. I still have a great deal of love for Inglourious Bastards. If it gets voted down,
Oh,
I'm
that
going to
movie's
like
fucking
defend.
great.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
we're not judging the movie.
Well, no, exactly. But even the soundtrack, I still like. He's borrowing instead of doing pop songs, he's borrowing from other soundtracks that kind of do the same effect, and I kind of respected him a lot for that. If it goes down here, I'm not going to put up a big fight for it, but it's just like I still advocate for it. It's such a good one. Yeah, the little rinky-dinky Tin Pan Alley, German songs. I think I do. Like that kind of thing. Like, okay, okay, that's, for the context of the movie, sure, great, but, yeah.
This was definitely one that, like, some songs were super helped by the context of the movie.
Yes, that's true.
And some songs
There's
were
no way I would have bought the sound. It would have bought these songs individually had it not been for the application.
It's also like just kind of all over the place musically.
Right.
Like it's kind of like whoa, okay, we're doing that now. Oh wow, we're doing this.
Right, like to me, even more than the Western to hip hop jump in Django Unchained, like the Western to
Bowie?
war movie to Bowie to like classical German singing is like as a listening experience. You're like,
whoa.
I wouldn't put this mixtape back on again.
No.
You know what I mean?
Whereas Django, I felt like those shifts delighted me. This I was just like, oh, okay, cool. We're changing it up here. Okay, gotcha.
Well, we have opposite feelings.
That's okay. Still love you.
The French singing about Mexican, like, with the
Mexican
sombrero.
yeah.
I love that. I thought that was great. Like, that encapsulated what I loved about this movie in ways that I felt like Django was a little forced.
Okay.
Sometimes in its switches.
Well, that being said, are we of consensus then that Inglourious Basterds would be our number 8 slot?
I'm cool with that or Reservoir Dogs for me, yeah.
Okay, well, let's just for the sake of argument, let's go ahead, let's put Inglourious Basterds in at number 8.
Teske's bad.
No, I support that.
you do?
I support what he just said. I would not.
Reservoir Dogs next.
Yeah.
Okay,
Reservoir
so
Dogs is
listen,
not
we
gonna
have our
win.
10, 9, 8. Let's just talk about Reservoir Dogs for a bit because
please.
Here's the thing about Reservoir Dogs. Reservoir Dogs, the soundtrack is a different experience than a lot of other Tarantino soundtracks in the sense that it is very much an album experience. He very much wanted to recreate what it was like for when those oldies radio stations would do, like, we're doing a disco week, or we're doing a 70s week, or whatever. He wanted to have that experience, and so to have dry, deadpan comedian Stephen Wright come in and do these incredible little interludes about, like, you can win tickets to see the Behemoth. Like, just incredible, like, little add-on. It just adds to the experience of, like, you're not necessarily as much listening to a soundtrack as, like, a bootleg or, like, a radio broadcast or whatnot. And it's great, and this is a movie where there are some fucking songs that fucking scream at you, and of course, Little Green Bag, and then walking down the fucking street, and the
So fucking good.
iconic moment of Steelers Wheel stuck in the middle with you, given the most depressing and incredible context within the scene that it's used in.
And Coconut, to be honest, too. Like, that as an end credit song. You're like, this is fucking cool.
Which is a weird touch, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say, and of course Teske will have his defense of it in a moment there, is that after all of this, what's the rest? Because we have I Gotcha by Joe Tex. You know I'm gonna give it to you. It's just like, okay.
I just watched the movie and I couldn't tell you what scene that was from.
Or the Fool for Love by Sandy Rogers. Jesus Christ. That's the kind of country that just, like, scrapes my ears.
Well,
It's fine.
it's fine. And it's
bad.
Well, when it's a song about a brother and sister fucking, because it's about to play. Oh, y'all didn't know that? Ooh, yeah, it's a Sam Shepard play about a brother and sister fucking called Fool for Love. And this was made for the movie of the Sam Shepard play, and then it was like copped into. Okay, but really the thing that we need to talk about is that the entirety of the music budget was blown on Steelers Wheel. In 100% of the initial music budget.
And hooked on a feeling.
Well spent.
No, initially.
Are you giving like an actual factoid right
Yes,
now?
yes.
Oh.
No. Yeah, this is the actual fact. Of like he was like, I don't care what the rest of the music is, we got to do the Steelers Wheel, and they spent like 150. It's a relatively low budget movie.
Yeah.
So they spent $150,000 or whatever.
Did they really?
On securing the Steelers Wheel stuck in the middle with you, which like I think is money well fucking spent.
Right, and that explains why when it comes to like Magic Carpet Ride, they had the band Bedlam do a cover of it instead of getting the actual original recording.
Which is I heard that one first because I realized that like a Tarantino fan girl burned that CD for me, and I was like, oh, this is why. Oh, and then I heard the Steppenwolf. I'm like, oh, this is better. In order to get the rest of the music, this is the story that I've read on the interweb, is that in order to get the rest of the music, they had to pitch it as a soundtrack. And initially it was like, oh, cool, okay, we'll sell it as a soundtrack. But it wasn't, it was just supposed to be the music from the movie, and they spent all of the budget on the Steelers Wheel. So that's why, to me, a lot of this feels a little eclectically 70s and just kind of like random 70s songs that you know and you feel, and that are after that are very well integrated, I think, into the Hooked on a Feeling, especially of like that kind of they're killers, they're trained to do things, and then ooga chaka. Yeah. It's just so fun on top of that. And a lot of these are incorporated touches after the fact, as opposed to that are assembled then into this beautiful soundtrack that ended up being, his fucking calling card.
I mean, right, true, but also a lot of films just pick the music after the movie's completely shot already.
Yeah.
So like,
right, exactly.
The fact that he picked the rest of the songs, but he still like edited it all to the music and knew the song he was going to use while he was shooting it already. Like,
sure, yeah. No, what I'm saying is this is the least care he put into that soundtrack.
But he got one of the biggest moments out of it, which was, of course, Steelers' real moment.
And
That's the song.
Which is the song.
Right.
Yeah, money well spent.
When you take the fucking, what's the comedian's name?
Stephen
When
Wright.
you take the Stephen Wright and then you combine it with the dialogue, I think that Reservoir Dogs, the soundtrack for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is trying to do the same thing.
Yes.
It's trying to
We are
be
gesticulating
like
greatly.
70s greatest hits with like all of these transitions, like the radio show with the KGH and all the commercials.
Wheels on Steel,
Except that I don't want to fucking listen to commercials. I like this. I like the soundtrack. I liked the movie, but like, I don't want to listen to what are we?
Tanya Tanny Butter.
Yes.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
These are actual real things.
Well, I don't care. I can't buy it now.
I
don't care about my movie.
I would much rather listen to the Madonna speech than like listen to some fucking random ad that wasn't even featured in the movie.
Real Dot Still.
Agreed.
Yeah, but there's
You
so
know what I
many like really fucking great tracks on Once Upon a Time.
So let's pivot to this because I feel like this is a good pivot to do.
Great.
Because I do feel like I got that sense when I listened to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Well, more than just about any of the other albums, Reservoir Dogs and Once Upon a Time are very much that experience, that radio listening experience of just you're driving down the highway, putting something on, and he's going for two different vibes here. If for Reservoir Dogs it was the 90s with the 70s throwback weekend, and here he got to do the real fucking thing. And I feel like there's something magical about that soundtrack experience of those ads that were real ads back in the day, and the Real Don't Steal, tell you what the weather is, and hey, there's a high school reunion going on. Like, it's one of the things where it's kind of like drab, it's kind of minutia, but at the same time I feel like that's very much what he's trying to evoke with this movie, because it's a movie where Coupe and I had a long talk about this movie. I didn't like it in the same way that he did. He liked it because, aside from being a love note to Hollywood, of also, as he described it, and I think very interestingly, as a way, and I think you're borrowing Tarantino's words a little bit, of how he wanted to reclaim, especially like Sharon Tate's story, how when you mention Sharon Tate, you think about, the woman who was murdered by the Manson cult. That's the first thing that you say. Yeah. And in this movie, he very much wanted to try and rip that narrative away, to be like she was a real person, and she had real interests in things, too, which I think is...
She's not just a tragedy. She's more than that, yeah. And I 100% am.
Right, exactly, which is phenomenal. And so therefore, like, there's a part of me that, like, I like the soundtrack to this because it does evoke that feeling where you think about those stupid ads and those terrible DJs and things like, and there was something nostalgic, element to it, and it really does a good job in transporting you there. Do I think it's the best soundtrack in here? Fuck no. Absolutely not. I think it's a good collection of songs. Some of them I like more than others. I think it's a very bold to put Mrs. Robinson in there, but I still think the highlight...
Balls.
Yes, but I still think that the biggest one, the Jose Feliciano cover of California Dreamin', that is probably still the highlight for me out of that one.
Except for the part at the end where he has his guitar solo, and then he's like going nyeh, 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 along to his guitar solo, and I'm like, what are you doing?
So like, I feel like they have different aims and different goals, but they're still kind of coming from that same place.
Yeah. My favorite, because there are quite a few covers on here. For example, Circle Game is not the original, and I really don't like this version. But on the flip side, the cover of You Keep Me Hanging On
by fucking Vanilla Fudge.
Oh my god.
Well, and the thing is that, like, there were some music journalist friends I know on Twitter who had just like, I never knew this fucking version existed. Yeah. Like, that was a deep cut, and it was so well done.
And the Neil Diamond song, so
yeah. Neil Diamond has some weird fucking shit. Oh, well, listen, I mean, he also, Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon, too. That was a Neil Diamond penned original. Mm-hmm. It helped launch the career of Urge Overkill, which... great for them. They're still, I'm sure, a band. But the thing is,
yeah, you're sure?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, next week on Overkill. That band I forgot the name of
50
right
years
away.
later, you're sure they're still a band? Okay.
Yeah, but the thing is, so that's what things are like. I agree that like the vibe of both these soundtracks is very good. I do think that in terms of its aims, I feel like Reservoir Dogs does it a little bit better because you have that Stephen Wright stuff, that originality, even though some of the song selections fall a little bit just because of the constrictions that they had.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has a great vibe. It's a little bit, honestly, if I'm being honest, a little bit monochromatic because it's just this bright, sunshiny garage rock pop
That's
vibe
fair.
that kind
And
of
it's-
carries through.
It's
It's
also
a good fucking time.
very
Yes.
sprawling.
And-
like, advertisements aside, it's really long.
Yeah.
The first like 3, 4, you know, you can pick out the first 3 songs especially are like, oh, I've seen that in the trailer for lots of movies.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, and which again, the balls of this man using 3 different trailer movies,
Yeah.
trailer songs on the first fucking 3 on the soundtrack. It's like, come on, like just like you could have left, you could have been fine without Hush.
But it's one of the best songs on it.
it's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And it does feel this does feel like I agree, the Reservoir Dogs somebody at the end of his career, or I don't know, well I only say that because of the 10th movie or whatever it's looming,
Star Trek.
but like it's not, dear God, if it's Star Trek I'm gonna vomit.
Barefoot in space, who knew?
Enterprise proof.
But yeah, no,
Well, I think that kind of brings us to the idea of like, I think we're kind of splitting hairs at this point, and I think it's just going to come down to outvoting a little bit here.
Cool.
I didn't think it would come to this.
I'm sorry.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I don't understand. Like, quick side note. I don't know why we're talking about anything besides Death Proof right now.
ooh, good point.
Okay.
Like,
I like the
before we
soundtrack, but that movie's
rank
dog
another
shit.
thing.
Well, and here's the thing. Let's think about. We always talk about, and you brought up the point of what is the iconic song from each of these movies. Now, what is the iconic song? Because I can tell you what he thought the iconic song was going to be.
Hold tight.
Well, that is a lovely scene where they're all driving together and it's kind of the girls' road trip of revenge. But personally, I think he was really aiming for Down in Mexico by the Coasters for the fucking stripping in front of the Kurt Russell scene.
And is that the scene you sent me that you told me you were going to be doing for us
Yes,
today?
and I'm going to put it on shortly. I will
Excellent.
be doing the stripping for you. But the thing is that I feel
Is that the mini-sode?
Yes. You're welcome. I'm out. But the thing is, I feel like that's what he was trying to go for,
hands
but
off,
it just
exactly.
it wasn't
Don't
the
touch the
same.
merchandise.
There is some nice songs on here.
It was
but,
enjoyable.
Yeah, exactly. It's an enjoyable thing, but like it just feels like if he doesn't do it as a movie, I feel like he may not view this as a soundtrack in that same way because it feels
that's a
like
good point.
it feels like kind of like almost like Tarantino leftovers, and I mean that in the kindest
Totally.
way.
Oh my god,
Oh,
yes.
I have zero issue with going Death right now. I have no
Okay, thank God.
It's definitely it feels like there's a lot of the same intention that he had with every other movie and soundtrack, except he spent like a good 15 minutes on it instead of like 10 years or whatever.
It definitely, it feels like we watched him talking about how whenever he's watching a movie or he's listening to the radio, he'll hear a song and he'll be like, oh, that would be a good driving song. Or, oh, this would be a good opening title. And he'll just keep that in the back of his mind.
Yep.
And then once he has a script written, he's going through the scenes and he's like, now I have an opportunity to use that song.
Right.
I definitely feel like Death Proof was like I don't need to save these songs for anything better kind
Gotcha.
of situation.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blow all my driving songs.
I will say, I think
Jeepster.
I thought Riot in Thunder Alley was a good find. I like that
That song.
song.
Oh,
yeah.
they're all
he-
really good.
Also, no, but why did he pick the worst fucking Ennio Morricone song of all with that Paranoia Prima thing? It's like this sound, like this weird, drab, like cheap
That was-
sounding piece of shit. It's
that was
like,
odd.
the fuck is this?
I skipped over that.
I would understand if that's the movie that Morricone saw and was just like, I don't want to work with that motherfucker. I would believe that. He picked my worst song. and
He's
put
a
it in
Planet
there.
Terror
He
fan.
picked that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember how his dick falls off in Planet Terror?
Been a while.
Yeah.
That's gross.
I just remember Machine Gun Leg. That's really all I remember.
Oh, yeah.
That's all you need to remember, if we're being
Yes.
honest. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay, well,
But
in that
also,
case...
how can Death Proof compare to Machine Gun Leg? I mean, come on.
I thought Death Proof was a better movie than Planet Terror at being like it. it was a bad Tarantino movie instead of a good camp.
Well, the worst part about it, though, is that because Tarantino is lionized more than Rodriguez, he eventually put out Death Proof as an extended version, which ended on 20 minutes, which was unnecessary. It was not a good movie to begin with, but in 70 short minutes, it's like, okay, cool, great, we're in it. And then outside of that, it turned into its own fucking thing, which is like, this is, no. Well, in that case, I'm personally fine putting the Death Proof soundtrack.
100%.
I wasn't, okay, just to recap, guys. Number 10,
You're
Kill
welcome.
Bill Volume 2. Number 9, Hateful Eight. Number 7, Inglourious Bastards, number 8, Inglourious Bastards. Number 7, Death Proof. So that leaves...
Are we really saying that Inglourious Bastards is worse than Death Proof?
No.
No, that doesn't feel right at all.
Yeah,
does
can
it?
we switch that?
I'm cool with that.
Because I think the most damning thing is I did forget about Death Proof
No,
until
like
you brought it up.
literally, we were talking about things that we had feelings about,
Right.
And we had forgotten about Death Proof.
We can move Death Proof to 10. I don't even
No, listen, we already did one change. Kill Bill Volume 2, number 10. Hateful Eight, number 9. And Death Proof, number 8. Inglourious Bastards, number 7.
That feels right.
That
feels good.
Which
I will qualify that by saying that Hateful Eight is a different kind of soundtrack than everything else. I think it was a great movie score. Mr. Morricone, please do my movie. But
He's working on it. So, I mean, I feel like at that point, though, what's next? Number 6.
Cool.
Bear in mind, we've also been
You don't wanna
talking.
hear my number
We've been
6.
talking for 50 minutes, so
really?
yes, we
I
have.
mean, hey, it'll be like
It's
an
a
hour
fun. This
20 or
is
so.
a flying 50.
We've also talked about a lot more movies than we've ranked.
Yes.
So,
yes.
like, I feel like next for me, personally, is probably either Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or like Jackie Brown.
Whoa, easy there, Slugger.
Oh,
Easy there, Slugger.
Whoa.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Coupe, I feel like you are probably the biggest defender of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood right now, so I kind of want to hear your thoughts about that soundtrack.
I mean, it's the most recent one too, so I loved it. I think it's great. I think hearing your thoughts, it is one of the more repetitively like good timey soundtracks.
Yeah, it got that vibe, and also I feel like, because we were talking about what is the scene, what is the moment, and Jose Feliciano comes close. Was there any other moments that like...
No, because you remember just being like, oh, I love this so much, but yeah, it's the sort of the visual iconography more than this music. I mean, the music's a great fucking...
Right, but the music also just like accompanies that
Totally.
like sunny
This is that, again, to steal John's wording, that not the hill I'm gonna die on here.
Okay. Well, in that case, for number 6, do we put Once Upon a Time, or do we have a soft spot for Reservoir Dogs, or how are we feeling? Jason Teske.
I will fight for Reservoir Dogs and Jackie Brown over Once Upon a Time.
Sounds great to me.
Great.
All right,
Once
good.
Upon a Time is
Once
nice.
Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Which, and also, like, 6 is not bad.
No, it's not.
It's
It really
It
isn't.
made it halfway.
Given the rest of the Tarantinography,
It beat Death Proof.
Woo! All right.
It beat Kill Bill Volume 2.
Yeah. Well, and there's
Everything.
Yeah, everything.
Literally everything on
Death
this
Proof
list.
beat Kill Bill Volume 2.
all right. In
We're
that
gonna make
case,
enemies for life with this
God.
podcast.
Yeah.
Why didn't we put Death Proof first? It's fine.
Because we forgot about
We
it.
forgot
Because
about
that's
Yeah.
which
We
is
completely forgot about
it's
it.
fine.
It's not bad.
It's just meh.
Yeah.
I think-
And there's also a lot of music.
Yeah.
You know, and it's all and it's different and interesting and good.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, good. So this is for the fans at home that are listening, and I hope you're fans by the end of this. Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, Kill Bill Volume 1, and Django Unchained are our remaining candidates. Now, we talked a good bit about Django Unchained, a little bit about Reservoir Dogs, so I'm just going to throw that out here. I know Taran, he just lobbed through his nominations out there. He thinks Jackie Brown is going to be next. I will join John Gleason Teske in rigorously defending that. As
100%. Yeah.
It is a phenomenal soundtrack that I have a lot of strong feelings about. But Coupe, I'm just curious. For the
You
sake...
don't want to know.
Oh.
You don't want to know what my next one
Just
is.
say it.
Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction. Dude, that movie, that soundtrack is mostly just like forgettable surfer music. It's got some baller tracks, and you're absolutely, there's nothing more iconic than Miserlou, or whatever, however you say it. But I was listening to it, and I was like, all right, this is a fun surfer movie. Also, like, I was also like, this is not listening to the soundtrack did not put me in the mind like set for watching the movie. I'm like, the movie's like fucking awesome. Not number one, I'm just kidding. but you know what I mean? I was like, this is not...
Well, okay, there's something that needs to be said, though, about the first three movies, and less so about Kill Bill, but about these first three soundtracks especially, is that these are Dianetic films, where basically, a lot of the times, the characters are in the movies interacting with the songs. And as such, there is an immediate connection, because you could still see Uma Thurman in her mind when she puts on the tape reel and Girl, You Must Be Must Be Woman starts playing, and her fingers start doing the like kind of wavy gun thing as she like starts listening to it and getting into the vibe. And then you think about the song, the twist song that comes on there, the Mademoiselle song during the Jackrabbit Slims moment.
But aren't and this is also my gut reaction.
Right.
Was a lot of these songs, when I think of Quentin Tarantino, I think of like awesome deep cut music where you're like, I've never even heard of this. This is fucking great. Why have I not been listening to this my entire life? Whereas when I was listening to Pulp Fiction again, I was like,
Song of a Preacher Man?
These are all pretty well known music. I mean, these are not.
It was almost like a counter reaction to Reservoir Dogs. You're like, okay, now that I have a budget, I want to get the songs that I want to put on. When we've said this once, to compare it to something a little bit more, it's definitely his Guardians 1, whereas I think the Guardians 2 soundtrack, I'm like, whoa, fucking Lakeshore Drive is a song? Like, I live there. Don't come find me. Yeah.
I did not live on Lakeshore
I
Drive.
will say, personally, and I wouldn't necessarily put Pulp Fiction there, but I do want to talk about it a little bit, because I agree with you somewhat, like Dusty Springfield, Son of a Preacher Man, pretty obvious choice. This is also 1990. Jungle Boogie.
Yeah.
Apparently it gave a big career revival to Kool and the Gang at the time, too.
I'm just also not very precious about Pulp Fiction. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people are.
But then, the thing that we forget about is for this platinum-selling soundtrack, and do not worry, Jungle Lisa Teske, you'll have your moment. There's still also that If Love is a Red Dress, Hang Me in Rags by Maria McKee. I don't know what the I don't even fucking... That is such a weird song that I do not like, that I keep forgetting, you're on this iconic, legendary soundtrack, you weird fucking McKee song. I don't know, it's just odd. Go ahead.
I think this is a very it was a very good assessment that now that I have money and I'm going to plan the soundtrack, I'm going to put up the songs that I want.
Go all the fucking way.
But I do think that there are a lot of these songs on here that even if you don't host a music podcast, and not just because they're big hits in the 70s, because they were big hits again in the 90s because of this
soundtrack.
Album. And Misirlou is a big one. Jungle Boogie is a big one. Let's Stay Together. Well, that probably could have.
That was a hit to begin with.
But I think a lot of people. But I mean, I had it on a CD because people were burning it off of this fucking soundtrack, right?
Yeah, and I know
Son of a Preacher Man.
Son of a Preacher Man definitely had a resurgence because of this movie.
Yeah, sure. You never can there's so many songs in here that while they are big songs in their own right, they are iconically associated with Pulp Fiction, and I can't listen to the soundtrack without feeling something. And this is this is before I watched it for research for this thing. I instantly associate it, and I could find you 24 people on the street who instantly associate a Son of a Preacher Man with a specific moment in this movie. My favorite thing is we had the Pulp Fiction soundtrack in the coffee shop I worked in college, and every once in a while when I wasn't paying attention, I would turn up the music on whatever coffee shop soft modern rock was on the beforehand, because it was and then everybody would be like, I love you, man. Every fucking last one of you, Misirlou, and everybody in the coffee shop would just be like, and there would be more smiles than a gas, because they knew exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
They were all very excited by it.
Yeah. It was like an adrenaline needle to the heart for them, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a bad joke, but it's true.
Well,
I don't have that connection to the soundtrack. I look at it, I'm listening to it.
Well, the thing is, I honestly, and I do mean this in the kindest way, I feel like Pulp Fiction almost falls in the same trap of Reservoir Dogs, in which there are utterly undeniable, almost even like genre boundary shaking moments that happen in here with Miserlou, with honestly Girl You Must Be a Woman, that just are so shocking. Same with Steeler's Wheel, that just are so incredible, and just like that's in a moment. That's the thing that's going to be imitated for years and years and years down the line.
And I put Pulp Fiction above Reservoir Dogs.
Absolutely, not even a question. But it's just then the rest, and it's one of the things where that Maria McKee thing just kind of sticks in my cod a bit of just like I literally keep forgetting that the songs on there, and I don't mind the surf rock songs. They're not like my favorite things ever, but this soundtrack alone was responsible for a surf rock revival that happened in the 90s, thanks in part to Dick Dale, but also because of the other songs that are on here, which are like, cool, great, they're great, but I'm not going to be playing them on the regular, but I still appreciate the fact that they're here.
Oh, totally.
The impact.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we haven't been talking about a lot is that I like the dialogue on this Pulp Fiction soundtrack better than
Fair.
I like on... I like the entirety of the dialogue on this soundtrack better than I like the entirety of the dialogue on any other.
Well, because, I mean, literally, the last song is Ezekiel 25:17, which is the Samuel Jackson speech, which is...
belongs on the soundtrack.
It absolutely, Super Royale and Cheese belongs on the soundtrack.
Yeah,
to the point
does.
where, honestly, and I mean this in the kindest way, the dialogue from Django Unchained doesn't have that same oomph, you know?
I was literally just thinking that.
Yeah.
That, like, the dialogue excerpts on Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction are both, like, those are incredible standalone stretches of words. Whereas, the dialogue on Django Unchained, prepare to get winged! Like, okay. Oh god.
Which, and also, especially, and the thing that I noticed is going further in the career, the dialogue is an excuse to put N-words on soundtracks a lot more, I feel, than the poetry of the first couple records. Like, there seems like that cool Tarantino way of talking on the first, especially on Pulp Fiction, but there's a lot of this N-word, that N-word. It's even in the fucking title of the dialogue sometimes.
And rewatching a bunch of these movies, you go, whoa, hello. Especially Reservoir Dogs, where you really don't need a single one. Not that you ever need it. Let me just preface,
right.
You never need it.
Okay, boomer. All right. But I will say, here's the one thing. So we've been talking about this for a good bit. Here's where I personally stand with it. Cool. I agree that Pulp Fiction surprisingly isn't a flawless soundtrack, but out of all these things, I also don't feel like Django is a perfect soundtrack. But if I was to put a number 5 on here, of everything we've talked about, I'm putting Reservoir Dogs here.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Okay, so after our discussion, I think I might be switching to Django Unchained next.
Listen, Django's not number 1, but I put it above Reservoir Dogs.
Okay.
It's just in terms of memorable songs. Like, I fucking jog to fucking the Unchained song with Tupac, and James Brown. Like, that thing,
I will say,
is,
my favorite takeaway from this entire motherfucking thing, though, was Un Momentuno by Ennio Morricone, because he has this weird, vocal effect that goes on in the background, this ooh, it's this type of thing, it's like running through a filter or something.
Monumento.
Yeah, and...
a monument.
Yeah, and it's just so fucking good, and it's that thing where I just kind of realized Morricone did fucking everything. Like, it was just it was such a beautiful production effect, and not something I would expect from a composer.
That was the one that he wrote for this.
No, the one he wrote for it, I remember, is a lot fucking worse. The one that he wrote for this was Ancora Qui.
It was a He did it with someone else.
With Lisa, who was the singer. And I remember was that the one? Oh, no, it's a lot worse.
I didn't hate Ancora Qui.
Yeah.
I don't love it.
But that last song where he's burned down the mansion or the plantation and and he rides off a hill and I'm like, this is so fucking cool. That's the thing with Django. I'm like, this is so fucking cool. And except for 100 Black Coffins, where you're like, this is a serious.
This is confrontational right here. Listen, okay, in that case, if we went ahead and if we put Django Unchained at 5, followed by Reservoir Dogs at 4, I'm in a universe where I feel like I could live with that.
I could live with that as well.
Yeah.
Wanna do that?
I
okay,
can.
Guys, we're getting down to the fucking wire now. In that case, that is Django Unchained at number 5. That is Reservoir Dogs at number 4, which leaves 3 little movies called Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, and Kill Bill Volume 1.
Two of those are my favorites. Two of them are my favorites ever.
And I think we're getting to the nitty gritty here.
This is splitting hairs.
And one of the things about Jackie Brown, because we haven't talked about Jackie Brown.
Let's talk about fucking Jackie Brown.
One of the things that I love about Jackie Brown is, independent of the movie, this is a good fucking playlist.
Thank you. That's probably my biggest takeaway out of all of these is that it is just fucking solid as shit. Taran needs to tell briefly his story involving Strawberry Letter 23, though.
Oh. No, this is just goofy. I have, on no less than 4 separate occasions, called my dad and been like, Dad, what's the song that's like do 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 do? And he's like, Taran, it's still Strawberry Letter 23.
One day he's gonna fuck with you and be like 24. You're like,
Which one is that? No, and now I remember it because I've done that so many times. But
That's
I just
awesome.
I would hear it in public or
That
like
song is great.
I saw a cover band do it once and I was like, what? I know this song. What is it? Doesn't have any lyrics. I can't Google it.
It's so good.
Even though Tennessee Stud, I know, is more of a different kind of vibe that goes on here, there's just so many things I like on this motherfucking soundtrack. I'm even willing to forgive. I understand the importance of having a Pam Grier song being used on here because it has been the Pam Grier revival. She's a terrible singer and it's a terrible song. I like that it's here though. I understand what it represents, in terms of having it back.
Also, across 110th Street.
Oh my god.
Across 110th Street.
I can't do anything listening to that song. I just grew. Grooving is the only activity.
I vibe so hard.
Yeah, that's the song I listened to the most.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
absolutely.
You ever just walked down the street to that song?
Yes.
You were like, you want to do like the Spider-Man 3 finger guns at
yeah.
Well, it's also just it's so
No one does that.
It's so like
no one.
perfectly cinematic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
that
from
opening
the
scene,
moment it begins,
yeah.
and then all of those strings. Like I know that style of string was very popular in 70s pop, but like it also just screams movie.
Mm-hmm.
Which is for me also like I had late in life. I think it was in college when I finally heard Street Life, and it really affected me. The Street Life, and then it was that whole string down, doodle doodle, and then it's just kind of this rising string action that's going on. It's just like, oh fuck yeah, and you're just in it. Oh, it's so fucking good. That's the thing. Like I'm surprised it's being nominated because it's like I understand there's a couple songs like I really don't need The Lion and the Cucumber by fucking The Vampire Sound.
I like that song.
It's
But,
fine.
Like I liked it a lot more than I thought I was gonna. Like a second and third time I went through that album, I was like, you know what? I don't hate this.
Right.
I mean, you know what's really annoying?
What?
Didn't I blow your mind this time?
But it's such a lovely scene.
I like, but I'm like,
blow your mind this time.
It's good. It's not, yeah.
Yeah, it's like fine, but then
also like Natural High.
oh,
Like, that
fucking
song
love
from-
that.
I
Love that.
Yeah.
I really do.
Literally, there's nothing on here that I wouldn't listen to.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, it's like well, okay. I didn't like the Foxy Brown song personally. Like that is one where it feels like I understand it was scoring a completely different scene as a song in the soundtrack. It's like okay, it's fine.
And this is also one of those soundtracks, and I think we haven't. We talked a little bit about it in the Django, where this is a genre movie.
Yes.
And this is music of that genre in a lot of ways. This is very evocative of that genre, but also in a we're getting an older Pam Grier. It's like older people who, back in the day, there was this blaxploitation sort of like funk music. There's this kind of like the things that were popular in that style of why isn't there more Curtis Mayfield on here? But like,
Yeah. Who knows?
but
he got Bill Withers instead.
Yeah, exactly.
which is fine. But it does feel like that. This is you listening to this soundtrack. You understand exactly the kind of movie it is, and it's also older music and dealing with a lot of older people.
That's a good point.
From all four of the
I
big
agree.
names in this movie.
Well, there's that scene after she plays the record too, when the Delphonics song. Even though I don't love the song, and then he goes like he hasn't really lived pop music, so he goes to a record store and gets a cassette and looks at all the Delphonics on the wall. It's like I guess I'll be listening to Delphonics now because he's still thinking about her. And it's just
He's
like,
so adorable.
He is so adorable. R.I.P.
Rest in peace.
Exactly.
Oh,
So it's one of the things where, like, honestly, like looking at it. Jackie Brown is honestly the reason I thought this would be a good idea to do a podcast in the first place, because this was a case where I genuinely thought the soundtrack was like, not saying that it's better than the movie, but like what a fucking soundtrack. That was my biggest
I love
thing.
the movie too.
However, here's the other thing I say. We're talking about all of them right now. So if I gotta be honest now, we've talked about Pulp Fiction. And I thought going into this week, Jackie Brown was going to be my low-key number one.
Nope.
It's not my number one.
No, it's not.
That's all I'm saying.
So does your number one maybe have the number one in its title?
Maybe it does. I don't know. But we could talk about it. How do we feel
We
about
haven't
that?
talked about
Yeah,
it.
let's talk about it.
So here's the thing about Kill Bill Volume 1. A couple problems. One, sound effects at the end. What the fuck is up with that shit? Number two, ode to Oren Ishii. Half Japanese. Shut the fuck up.
Okay,
Lisa.
also, half Japanese, half Chinese, half American. That's not how fractions work, RZA. That's not how math works.
After all of that.
Because here's the thing. It's like my number one. Even with all that, I'm like, oh, it's so fucking good.
It's so fucking good.
Oh.
Opening with Bang Bang My Baby Shot Me Down by Nancy Snug. This is one. It's almost even more than Pulp Fiction. I see every scene so clearly.
Every drop of blood.
Every single goddamn scene.
Yeah.
Because it by this point, even though like Jackie Brown wasn't the huge success that he wanted it to be, like when he was making Kill Bill, he had the clout from his first 3 movies to do literally whatever the fuck he wanted.
yeah.
So he did exactly that.
Exactly.
And you kind of hear that in these song selections. It is all over the goddamn place, but
The
it also
10
has
minute
plenty of like classically iconic, like Green Hornet. Like
Yeah.
that is a classically
Beautifully
iconic
reconstructed.
song.
Ironside? Every
Ironside.
time that
Yeah.
fucking plays, I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god, this is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting so excited.
I know, exactly, but because there's that, even honestly, the Isaac Hayes, Ray Faye Fun, like such a great percussive build to something. Oh
Ray
my
Faye
god.
Fun,
What is
Run Faye Run.
Run Faye Run. Ray Faye Fun. There's one of the two.
I would have gone into the hit, you know?
But like that is such a, like that percussive build is so great, and I just think about that Oren Ishii anime sequence that happens, and it's just so powerful, and like all, and of course the Twisted Nerve fucking taking the goddamn Whistler song from Sound of Music and recontextualizing it in a horrifying and amazing way. Oh my god!
I had completely forgotten that's even where that was from.
Yeah.
It's so like seared into my brain, the eye patch walking around the hospital. That, like,
Yep.
how can you think of anything else when you hear that? Honestly,
Right.
if I saw Sound of Music and that started happening, I'd be freaked the fuck out.
I did watch Sound of Music after I saw this movie, and I was like, what?
And then, oh my god, preparing for the fight with Oren Ishii, having the opening to Please Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood, just going on, is just incredible.
There are 14 unreleased tracks from this movie, which you could release as another soundtrack and it would be just as fucking good.
It's just like, I get so excited about it. I mean, the thing is, as with we all do, we all have very strong connections with very specific Tarantino movies, which is completely understandable. But the Kill Bill Volume 1 soundtrack, he's digging in, he is finding these obscure things and making them the popular things they are. Doing that with Battle of Honor and Humanity, and inexplicably the 5, 6, 7, 8. Battle of Honor and Humanity, that is just such, I don't know how anyone else didn't discover that fucking amazing
You
song.
can put
before
that
it.
song against any soundtrack.
It's a battle without honor and humanity.
Apologies, yes.
There is no honor and humanity
But,
there.
like, also, I think I've said this a lot on the podcast, but the cover of Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood, it's over 10 minutes long.
It is.
I don't mind.
So long.
I don't mind. It is so immaculately produced and arranged and performed that I'm just like, give it to me.
It wasn't ending when I was listening to it, and I looked at how much, I was like, oh, there's like 4 or 5 minutes left, and I was like, alright, cool.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Unlike the fucking Bedlam Magic Carpet Ride, where it's just like,
where it's like 5 minutes long, and you're like,
It's like,
please
okay.
stop.
Holy shit, guys.
Please stop.
You're like, I'm okay with mortality now.
Yeah. It's really fucking great, guys. I don't know what other way to describe it.
And I think it embraces its camp, and because it embraces the camp, it like embraces the flaws and the silliness of it.
Yeah.
So like ending it with axe throws,
Yeah.
somehow feels
Appropriate.
okay. Yeah.
Right.
And it's not like we're getting 18 minutes of these sound effects.
Right. I mean, there's 7 tracks of sound effects and excerpts, like various sound cues at the end.
One of them is Ironside.
But also,
I can't
But
stress
like
that
the
enough.
last 5 tracks together are less than a minute.
Exactly.
But also you hear like the sword swings.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my god, he did use that like a ton for every sword swing.
And it was so cool.
And it was like it's like I can picture it perfectly.
That sounds like
Okay, well, guys, listen. We have to call it at some point here.
Okay.
I'm just throwing it out there. This is me. We can talk. We can vote. But number 3 has to be Pulp Fiction.
I agree.
Sure.
Well, it sounds like I'm gonna get outvoted.
What would you put there instead?
I think it does more than Reservoir. I think, and like we talk about
Reservoir Dogs is already
never
on
mind.
there.
Never mind. What are we talking about?
Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, Kill Bill Volume 1.
Oh yeah, never mind. Pulp Fiction.
All right, guys. I think we know what's going on. That's right. So let's do it, guys. Let's make it happen. Oh, I did it in the wrong order.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
Number 10 is Kill Bill Volume 2. Number 9 is The Hateful Eight. Number 8 is Death Proof. Number 7 is Inglourious Basterds. Number 6, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Number 5, Django Unchained. Number 4, Reservoir Dogs. Number 3, Pulp Fiction. Number 2, Jackie Brown. And you know what number 1 is? 4 Rooms. It's an incredible experience. Multiple directors coming. No, it is Kill Bill Volume 1. And guys, we did it. I don't know how we did it, but we did it. And we have a lot more to talk about. That's why we have a happy hour mini-sode after this. But in the meantime, though, Taran, Dave, John, thank you so much for being here.
I'm a huge fan of this ranking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're all still gonna be friends tomorrow. Honestly, I wasn't sure of it.
Well, guys, here's the thing. Do us a favor. If you like John Gleason, Teske, and Dave Coupe, please give us a review on the iTunes or, like us on Spotify or subscribe or whatever the heck you do. We're in all the places now. We're a thing now. Follow them on Instagram. I mentioned it at the beginning and will not mention them again. And more importantly, though, thank you so much for listening. And keep on listening because guess what? You know it will be. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye.
Welcome to the Reviewniverse promo! The Reviewniverse with Chris and Steve is a podcast about 2 men who are hired to review everything in the universe.
We're stuck in a tiny room together filled with pneumatic tubes while 2 shadowy figures dictate what we have to review next.
Anything from pizza
To pop stars
to the entire state of Wisconsin.
A new episode every Thursday wherever you get your podcasts.
We give this promo a 100 out of 100.